Coach, we'll just start with an opening comment about Thursday's game, and then we'll open it for questions.
Well, excited to be home. Excited to have a chance to play in front of our crowd, and obviously have a very tough, formidable opponent in Auburn, coming off a tremendous win against top 10 team in Kentucky. They, as Dominique said, they play extremely hard. They have a good plan. It's a unique plan in that they zone pressure the whole night, and going to get back and play a lot of zone on the half court as well. Tremendous two-guard. One of 4 kids in our 4 years here that turned us down, and she's leading the league, I think, in scoring right now. Got a nice 5-player inside that's really talented. Their 4-player is hard to deal with, so they're a good team. Well coached, and again, very disciplined in what they do and how they do it. So we're gonna have to obviously be ready to play, just like you are any night in this league. As I've said before, if you're not ready to play in this league, you're not only going to get beat, you're going to get embarrassed. And it doesn't matter whether you're at home or on the road. I've been proud of our kids the last 2 ball games, in that we've been the team that came ready to play and early. And so, you know, I'm hopeful that we can continue that. We're still making lots of mistakes. We're still, you know, it hasn't changed. We're still young at certain spots on the floor, but we're playing pretty hard defensively, and I'm pleased with that. We forced 32 and 24 turnovers our last 2 ball games against number 17 in the country and number maybe 30, and both, you know, away. So we've had 2 good wins since the last time I was in here, and I think our kids realize the level that you have to play at in order to have some success. And I was extremely proud of how businesslike our kids took these last 2 ball games. And their approach was outstanding. Their preparation was good. Their work ethic, their focus was really, really good. And again, I think we always set the tone defensively with what we're doing, and that kind of carries over to the offensive end for us.
Two games ago, you sat in that spot, and after the Southeastern Louisiana game, you were kind of uncertain as to how the team was going to respond. Judging from the last 2 performances, do you have the confidence to think that it's more than just maybe a high point on the roller coaster ride, or do you think that they've got that realization now that that's the kind of effort it's going to take?
Well, my paranoia is that, you know, they're young and we're going to have a roller coaster ride all year. But here's how they responded. After me coming in here against Southeast Louisiana, we got back up the next morning. We had practice from 8 to 9:10. We changed clothes, got on a plane, flew to Jacksonville, got off that plane, went straight to a 2-hour practice. Had another 2-hour butt kicker, got up the next morning, had shoot around, played South Florida that day. So I'd say they responded pretty well after that night, and they knew it. I mean, I got pretty intelligent kids. They you know, they don't sugarcoat things. They understand when I tell them we got to look in the mirror, and I mean me. I have to wear the responsibility of coaching this team, and if we don't play well, then that's my responsibility. But we got to look in the mirror. You know, we knew we didn't play well against Southeast, and give them credit. But at the same time, there's a certain way we like to do things, and we didn't do them that night. And we knew my kids knew the competition was fixing to increase considerably, and as I've said before, I think that piques their interest, and so they were really focused, you know, against South Florida, and especially defensively. We really took them out a lot of stuff. And then Florida, we come out and really stayed on the offensive for 3 quarters. It was, you know, had them down 19 late in the 3rd quarter, and so I was really proud, and we forced 32 turnovers. Forced 32 turnovers in the SEC, that's hard to do. And, you know, they started or played most of the night with 2 point guards on the floor. So really, again, proud of just our approach those last two ball games. But again, they're kids. They're 18, 19, 20 years old, most of them. And so you never know. I try to keep them grounded the best that I can. And but I'm anxious to see us play Thursday. I'm always anxious for the next ball game. And so I'm anxious to see how we'll play. We're at home. It's our home opener. I would hope, like the Dickens, that we're going to be, jacked up and ready to go.
Well, we talked about still being injured a little bit. How pleasant it is if you can see her perform like she did Sunday and not be 100%.
Well, I mean, she's pretty good at whatever percentage she's at. I don't really know what the percentage is, but, I asked her about 3 weeks ago. I showed her the stats, and she was averaging, 4 or 5 points a game. And this time last year, she was averaging 12 or 13. And I said, I got to have another option, and she's really stepped up. It was 2 out of 3 from three-point range against Florida. I mean, she had 21 points, and she's shooting the ball extremely well, shooting it great from the free throw line. And she's got a lot of confidence right now. So it's extremely important that we find some other options besides Tori, and that's what's so encouraging about the Florida game. Tori went 4 for 20. We scored 76 points. I'm pretty encouraged by that. So we had some other kids step up. Bree was 5 for 9. Dom was 4 out of 8. I think Chinway was 3 out of 4. So we had some other kids step up and play awfully well, and we're going to have that, every night.
T's been kind of up and down, I guess, in her freshman year. When she's been up, she's been really good, and of course down low. What are some things she's had to work through? Where do you feel like she is now coming into SEC play?
Well, the South Florida game, we dominated inside the first half. Then we had to change some of the way we were posting in the second half because they didn't feel like it was fair, and so we're trying to transition and teach the correct way. She's posting the way I've coached her to post, but I think she's having to work through some of that and then realize in the SEC play, just being 6'7" ain't gonna guarantee you a rebound. Non-conference, when you're 7 inches taller than everybody else, you can probably reach over people and around people and everything else, but in the league, if you don't put a butt on somebody, they're going to get around you. And when they get around you, they're going to jump higher than you. And that's part of her thing is she's 6'7", but we're still teaching her to jump higher than a credit card. And I'm not talking about a one standing up. I'm talking about a flat one. And so, but when you've been 6'7" all your life and you haven't had to deal with anybody of any size, that's all you've ever had to do. So her and Chinway, our whole team, focal point today was rebounding and putting a body on somebody. Because if you don't put a body on somebody in this league, it's difficult, and we found that out against Florida.
Do you think that's where kind of the loss of somebody like Martha, who's a senior, and you bring in, somebody that's freshman, sophomore, junior in the post, kind of teaching them to box out? Do you think that's kind of where the rebounding issues have kind of come from early on?
Well, I do think it's always nice to have a player that does what you want to do so somebody can see how it's supposed to be done. That being said, I'm not sure Martha was just a great box out, but Martha had a great nose for the ball and had a great idea where it was coming off and how to get there. Again, I'm starting a sophomore at 5 and bringing a freshman off the bench. I'm starting a sophomore at point, bringing a freshman off the bench. I'm starting a sophomore and junior on the wing, bringing 2 sophomores off the bench. So, it's just that youth piece and the discipline that it takes to play at this level every play. And that's very difficult. I think if you ask any coach in this league, no matter what sport, there's a discipline that it takes to win in this league consistently, and you have to win play by play, possession by possession. And for us right now, we're playing a few kids a lot of minutes, and when the fatigue starts to set in, that's when the discipline kind of gets hard to recollect. So, but we're fighting our way through that right now, and that's why I was so proud of how we played the last 2 ball games on the road, because we could have easily been fatigued, could have been tired, but we weren't. We fought through it. We had great focus.
With the youth that you just talked about in the discipline, is it, say surprising, but the fact that the team has responded like it has the past 2 games, is that surprising, or does it reflect maybe a burgeoning maturity that hopefully is yet to come the rest of the way?
Well, I think something that gets lost in the equation is Bree, Katera, and Dom, and even Reese. Those 4 kids have been here a while. They know what we do and how we do it. And so those kids are pretty solid every day in practice and in ball games, especially how hard they play the game. And so our kids do see that. I bragged on T today. One of the things they talked about on TV was we've got a 6'7" freshman diving on the floor after loose balls. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And again, that speaks volumes to that kid and her selflessness, you know, her willingness to help any way she can for the betterment of the team. And I think we got a whole team full of that. So it's, again, I think those kids bring it every day, and that does allow those other kids to, I talk to them all the time. If there's 2 or 3 people that'll come to practice every day and play at this level, you'll drag everybody up with you. And so, you know, Katera's somebody every day, y'all. She's got a smile on her face. She's got a great attitude, and she's got a work ethic. And that's contagious. Blair's the same way. Blair comes every day, works her tail off, might make mistakes, but she's working hard every day. Morgan's pretty much the same way. So we got a lot of that. And I think, obviously, those freshmen see that, and they get it.
And Morgan said in one of her comments that she felt that she was almost being selfish in the fact that she wasn't getting to the line and scoring as much as she had been last season. Did you take it that way, or did you just maybe not see her realize that she had to play that role?
Yeah, I didn't take it that way. I took it as her not being aggressive, you know, and same way I've talked to Tori about getting to the line. Tori got to the line 10 times against Florida. Tori needs to get to the line 8, 10 times a ball game. Stop settling. And so she's trying to buy into that. She did it a little bit against South Florida. And so, you know, I think that's the piece to our team that it'll make it more difficult for people to guard us. Those kids are great in the open floor, make some really good decisions in the open floor. And so we need to get them in the open floor and allow them to either finish at the rim or get fouled and go to the line. I mean, Morgan wants the ball in her hands when the game's on the line. She wants to go to the free throw line. And, you know, I want her there too. She's shooting 90% or better from the free throw line.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right. Praise the Lord and go Dogs.